So how many different sorts of group do you have? You talked, you know, the fellowship groups and Smart Recovery and ACT.
Yeah, I mean the 12-step stuff, we do all sorts. We've got like an overeaters group and everything that's kind of connected to that. We've got like a transgender group specific for 12-step recovery. I think probably altogether there's probably about 8 or 9 different sort of. I mean, it changes. Sort. I mean, some sort of come, you know, some come and some go. But yeah, I think actual sort of that you would class as specific mutual aid in terms of obviously not treatment, but in terms of people coming to get well. Yeah, probably about 8 or 9 sort of. And again, it's just seems to grow every year, really, to be honest with you. I think that's one of the things we've been quite lucky with. When we first started, that's probably one of the things I'm most proudest of, really. We didn't have NA in Bangor at all. We just didn't have one, it just didn't exist. You know, and then sort of like I said, we got that meeting supported, we got that up and running. And that was us going out, or me going out to 12-step guys within the local community that I knew, and having a really difficult conversation with them about trying to get them to come in to do this stuff, because obviously it's a really sticky wicket for them in terms of the groups have to be self-sufficient, have to be freestanding, and we had to negotiate massively all the way through this. Me basically just saying to them, lads, I don't want anything off from this. I just want you to come in and talk people to get well. But that's now then mushroomed massively. It's probably our biggest, strongest fellowship at Penryn. We've got 2 meetings set at Penryn a week, but then another 3 within the local sort of area surrounding Bangor and Gwynedd. Really, really strong fellowship now. But yeah, it was kind of like I say, because at the start, I mean, AA's always had a very strong presence in North Wales, but very on the quiet. Do you know what I mean? Again, it's kind of a, you know, as they say, it's promotion by attraction. Sorry, as opposed to attraction by promotion. But like I say, CA again is something that kind of that we've been able to support and to help establish and embed within North Wales. We went to one of the recovery walks about 5 years ago, and that was our first exposure to CA, and kind of straight away, because it was really that thing I said about like a sort of like the stigma within the fellowships. You could sort of see there was an NA group on beforehand, or an NA meeting, and it was this stereotype, everyone coming out of there where, you know, just your normal Joes, people wearing tracksuits and this, that, and the other, and all that sort of stuff. And then the CA crew came in off the back of them. They're all slightly better dressed, and their hair was all a bit. Do you know what I mean? And it was all these, and you could basically tell they were like sort of a lot of the people that was attending that first meeting I went to were like middle-class professionals who kind of come unstuck with a bit of week and, you know, got themselves in the shit a bit here. But then didn't like to kind of identify being sat in a room next to a bloke with a scar across his face wearing a shell suit. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, again, it was one of the things that we jumped on straight away, and I said, listen, we need to, and we were just really lucky, it was really coincidental, but one of our staff team who originally came to us, and she came to ask, could she put on a CA meeting because she'd heard about us, and we just, like, yeah, we've just fell in love, and we employed her very, very quickly. So, I mean, she's just primary purpose. She's like a sticker rock. If you cut her in half, she just have recovery written through. And don't get me wrong, Dave, she can be a raging pain in my ass at times, but she's her desire and commitment to help people get well is just unbelievable. Just this. And again, it's this weird thing about sort of recovery, and again, that's the beauty of mutual aid, that we go from being like really self-centered, lying cheats and thieves, and you know what I mean, to being these guys who sort of run these fellowship meetings that just literally put all the time, money and effort just into helping other people get well in a way that even, I mean, we like to think as a service that we go above and beyond, and we go that extra mile. But we know that, like I said, these guys in the fellowships, they'll pick you up off the street, take you home, give you a bed for the night, do you know what I mean, feed you, do everything that you can for you, do you know what I mean? And again, that was kind of for us, it was about sort of recognising that if we could just give a space to these guys, to these meetings, and that we don't. The key thing is not to interfere, and not to try and contaminate or pollute it, particularly or impact or infringe on the traditions or anything like that as well. And I think that's. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still have issues with it at times. It's still a square peg in a round hole at times, because a 12-step fellowship never sits 100% comfortably within a treatment service, because there will always be issues. Particularly, say, like if we've had to ban someone from the premises for being a knobhead, and then they want to keep turning up for the group. The group's tradition is that this person can attend as long as they're not problematic, you know. So we have things like that. So we have to sit down, we have to negotiate some stuff every now and again. But yeah, it was just about trying to, I think, recognise the value of it. That's the thing I always come back to. Why I think the recovery agenda didn't work in this country, or was never embedded in the way it should have been, because we never gave enough respect, or enough, not respect because he didn't ask for it, but we never appreciated the value of mutual aid and what that meant. And that was the way that it was always explained to me by Gilman, was to achieve your end of it, the treatment worker, just take these guys to a meeting. Take them to the first meeting, that's all you've got to do. Everything else is sorted after that. But that don't fit within treatment services, because we don't want to surrender the power to, do you know what I mean? And we don't like this. Well, hang on a minute. We're all these highly paid professionals, and what you're saying is that you're better off giving them back to a load of ex-addicts, and they can do a better job getting them well than we can. Yeah, that's the truth of the matter.